Well, hello there. What is going on, YouTube? You are on the lifeboat. This is your Captain Calhoun speaking. How is everybody today? Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Got a banger in store for you today. I was once again inspired this morning while I was watching cartoons and just generally enjoying myself, and I had to stop and write a bunch of stuff down. So I hope you guys are ready for Delta-8-tetrahydrocannabinol. Body Illusion, what's going on? Good evening, KFIC89, Seventh Son, Stevo, Brazy Girl, all my favorite peeps are here. Kristen, the Better Bacon Bureau in the house. Heather, Patty Collins, Jason P. What's going on, guys? Tina Marie. I'm going to read off every single one of you guys. Rolling Stone in the house. Izzy E. I love it when you get to make a live, Izzy. Cheryl Niles, what is going on? What's going on? Shannon Smith's in the house. Oh, wow, that's a sweet beat. Turn the volume down on that. Heck yeah, guys. What is going on? How was your Monday? Hopefully a new trend of fantastic Mondays spreading out, rippling out across the world. Hopefully. Patty Collins, how you doing? All right, I think I said hello to everyone. I'm going to scroll all the way back down, and there's going to be like 15 new names. Monk Searcher, what is going on, brother? Welcome in. Debbie P. I live for now, and I don't need my hands. What's going on? I live for now. Good to see you. Beep boop. That's the sounds that robots make, just in case you were wondering. Aaron Cooper, Rose K. Hey. Oh, I'm feeling so good, Aaron Cooper. I have to say. Amazingly better. Sweet tea. Yeah, it is kind of fancy, huh? I never get to wear this shirt because it's like totally a function shirt. Not like it's functional, but it's supposed to be worn to functions. I think I've worn it twice, maybe once. I'm pretty sure, I know I wore it, I got it for the New Year's party in Salt Lake before I left. And I wore it once and then fell asleep like, I don't know, an hour or two into the shindig. I was so exhausted, so whatever. I figured I'd put it on today, get some mileage out of it. I'll tell you what, it looks a lot better unbuttoned with a small amount of jewelry. Tara Smiling in the house. Virginia. Yo. What did the lifeboat say? What did that pesky lifeboat say? Love you, Dad. I love you too. Thanks, man. Janet G. Queen Snow White. Hello. Shades of Gray. Wow, what a great turnout. Wow, what a great audience. All right, yeah. So I don't know if y'all are familiar, but we're about to become quite familiar. So the psychoactive ingredient in marijuana, aka layman's terms, the chemical in weed that gets you high, is Delta-8-tetrahydrocannabinol. Now there are over 100 cannabinoids in the hemp plant, and they all affect the body in different ways, and we haven't done a whole lot of research on quite a few of them. Delta-9 is known about. It's the most popular cannabinoid because it's the primary psychoactive ingredient, because it gets you high, right? That's why everyone wants to smoke pot, because Delta-9 gets you high. Now, Delta-8 is extremely similar in molecular structure, molecular weight, and the effects on the body. Very similar. Now, the only difference, you may have seen my thumbnail. The thumbnail illustrates the tiny itty-bitty difference between these two chemical structures. And it's just a little tiny double bond at the top of the structure. On one of them, it's on this side of the hex. On one of them, it's on this side. And I'm not a chemist. I don't know the significance of that, but they're so similar. That's the only difference. That's the point that I'm going to make here. Queen Snow White, what is going on? I think that's a fantastic use. I have to say, it can be wonderful for chronic pain. Now, Delta-8 is a new thing, and we're going to get into why that is. Newish. It's been around for a few years or whatever. But Delta-8 is now a $2 billion industry. Pardon me. What year was that? I can't remember the year. As of, I believe it was 2018. I might have my dates wrong, but was a $2 billion industry. I believe there's more information on this later in my notes, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. But it's legal in all 50 states, and it's available in all 50 states. So that being said, this did I skip something here? No, we're getting right into it. So before we get into why and how Delta-8 came about into the popularity, into the mainstream, into the market, I just want to say that several of the brands, and we're going to get into a much more detailed aspect of this as well, but several of the brands that sell these Delta-8 products at your gas stations, at your vape stores, contain nickel, copper, lead, and other heavy metals. And they're all lying about being natural. And I'm going to tell you why and how. They're not natural. That's one of the biggest selling points on these products, is it says all natural. And it's a bold-faced lie. It is a bold-faced lie. It's going to freak you out when I tell you what's inside this stuff. If you're using Delta-8, I would strongly advise against it. You'd be way better off just smoking weed, even if it's illegal. I'm going to catch flack for that, but I mean, let's be real here. As far as legalities are concerned, it's not a good plan, right? But I mean, as far as your health is concerned, don't do this. Don't do this. So we're going to go wind the clock back. 2018, the Farm Bill of 2018. The point of this bill was to support, or it's a recurring bill. Absolutely, Aaron Cooper. And I'm going to get back into the chat and chat with you guys in just a sec. I want to get a little foundation so that we have something to talk about. The Farm Bill of 2018 was to support and to provide support and stability to farmers, right? Also enhance farm support programs, improve crop insurance, as well as maintain disaster programs. Also, most notably in the 2018 Farm Bill was the legalization of hemp farming and distribution. Now, hemp and marijuana plants are considered cannabis plants. The difference is hemp contains less than 0.3% tetrahydrocannabinol, which is, again, those active ingredients, those cannabinoids, right? Hemp is used for fiber, rope, food. Like, this is technically a good move for farmers, for people, for the market, for the economy. Hemp is far superior fiber. It's a far superior root structure for preventing erosion. It is a wondrous plant. The seeds and other parts of it are good for the body as far as for food. I could go on ad nauseum, but it's also one of the biggest unregulated drug industries now because of this Delta-8 stuff. The bill made it clear that the levels of Delta-9 were the sole concern, as long as what you're farming and distributing contains less than 0.3% Delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol, then it's legal, as long as it contains less than 0.3% Delta-9. So entrepreneurs came up with the idea that through a chemical process, we might be able to synthetically change all the CBD in one of these plants into Delta-8. And they did so in huge commercial quantities and started to sell them. Started to make vapes, joints, blunts, all the stuff, right? All the stuff. Extracting massive amounts of this completely legal Delta-8 now, right? Fast forward to 2020. Also, I think I said this. I'm going to say it again just in case. It's available in all prohibition states. It's available in every state at the gas station. In 2020, Delta-8 Google searches increased 850%. 850% in the year 2020. The FDA has become aware at some point, right? This is an unregulated drug industry now. It's the fastest growing segment of hemp-derived products, and is dwarfed by weed, but obviously on the come up, right? As far as these products go. When the FDA finally investigated, many of these brands were found to be making erroneous claims about medical application, right? Over the year 2021 and 2022, over 100 people reported to the FDA that Delta-8 was causing serious side effects. 50% of these landed them in the hospital. hallucinations, vomiting, tremors, anxiety, dizziness, confusion, loss of consciousness. These are the adverse side effects that were reported over those 2 years. Let me say those again. This is wild. Hallucinations, vomiting, tremors. Now, is that delirium tremors? I don't know. But like, do you want your body to be physically shaking? I don't know. Anyways, anxiety, dizziness, confusion, loss of consciousness. There was a death. What's a good point to stop and chat? Let's see. There's so much here, guys. In May of 2022, the FDA issued 5 warning letters to some of the most popular Delta-8 companies, forcing a shutdown in 15 days or they face legal action, right? A little bit of an ultimatum. Through more studies and research, we found, now remember I was talking about a chemical process to transform the CBD into Delta-8? Let's talk about that chemical process. So you've got hemp plant with CBD, 1 to 20% concentration. You dissolve that in a solvent like hexane. Now, I'm not familiar with hexane, but it looks like something you wouldn't buy over the counter. And then you add acid and heat once it's dissolved in the solvent. Acid and heat. And I think what we're talking about is hydrochloric acid. We'll get to that in a little bit. Very bad. So this 0.1% natural Delta-8 turns into 1 to 20% purely synthetic garbage. Nothing natural, literally nothing natural. And, okay, we'll get to that later. Now we have to stop and talk about it, I think. That was a lot, right? We're only 12 minutes in, and our brains are all over the walls behind us. I'm going to scroll way, way up. Well, maybe not. Maybe we'll start at the bottom and scroll up. How about that? Well, those are not your friends, Doge. Those are not your friends. Let them go. Screw them. That's my opinion. Jeremy Fowler, what's going on, brother? Good to see you. Scooby Lee. Who do they think they are? Pfizer? No, Doge, we want you here. We definitely want you here. 100%. 100%. And we should educate those around us. This stuff's dangerous. We haven't even really gotten to the crazy part yet. Like, that is the crazy part, but and there's hope at the end too. The Farm Bill is a bill that's revoted on every 5 years. And I have the information here. Let's see. It was extended in 2020. The 2018 bill was extended in September 2023. So this year in September, we're going to have the opportunity to revote on this thing. So just some knowledge for you. Sneezing and coughing today, says Virginia. I'm so sorry to hear that. Jeremy Fowler, I would totally recommend you cut the D8, but I mean, it's your life. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I think that you'll live a much longer, happier life if you just stick to that Delta-9, brother. I only say that because I like you. I only say that because I like you a lot. My lungs have suffered too. I tell you what, I put a lot of crazy crap in them. Yeah, this is some pretty interesting stuff, Kristen. Usually that natural label is, you will find out a lot of things if you start digging and actually reading ingredients lists and looking up what those crazy words that are definitely not food actually are. Yeah, I would be real careful, Virginia. We don't know the long-term effects of this stuff because it's new. That's another thing that I was getting to. And, you don't need to, there's no need to freak out or beat yourself up, but let's arm ourselves with knowledge, right? We don't want to be caught with our pants down, years down the line. We would like to arm ourselves with knowledge and we can act accordingly. You're not going to, I don't think, you're going to keel over and die, but these are serious concerns, Looking very snazzy. Thank you, Ellie J. This is my function shirt. I have a few, but this is one that I don't ever get to wear because it's so shiny. And I feel like it's overdressed for a lot of things, but I thought I'd take it for a spin today since I don't really get to wear it very often. How can they get away with that? Well, it's an unregulated drug industry, and I'm pretty sure we'll get into more of that later because the FDA is taking notice, right? Where are we at here? Wow, that's the scary part. So I imagine that in September of this year, they will introduce something to the Farm Bill to that hemp section that says not distributing psychoactive drugs from these products. You know what I mean? They'll probably just add it into the bill. So for now, they're getting away with it because there's no legislation against it. And these entrepreneurs have found a loophole where they can make a bunch of money and not care about how it affects people. That's exactly what's going on. Tara, I feel like I've been talking about this subject a whole lot lately, and I keep hearing you say that, and I feel like a bad friend for bringing it up in front of you all the time. We're gonna have to do something a little different tomorrow, I think. By the way, isn't it Monday? You're here on a Monday, Tara. What's going on? Don't we have didn't we switch book study to today? Okay, cool. I actually read everything, guys. Imagine that. That's crazy, huh? Ooh, scrolling down, I saw a bunch of green. Thank you, Ellie J. Wow. You are wonderful. Thank you so much. Yeah, it changes the whole game when you can grow it yourself, I think that is a very humane, foolproof way of knowing what you're consuming. You know what I mean? Like, I know there's no hydrochloric acid or nickel or lead or silicone in this because I grew it and I didn't put none of that crap in it. You know? You know? Anyways, this stuff really kind of gets me going. It hurts me on the inside. It doesn't feel good to know that this is what's going on. I spent a lot of the day today hella depressed, and as soon as I started working on this and got off my butt and started doing stuff for me and working, and I felt better. But I spent a bunch of the day just being really sad watching cartoons. I don't know why I felt like sharing that. Yeah, uranium is natural. Think about that, y'all. Uranium's the active ingredient in nuclear weapons, I believe. That was not the right way to say that. I'm not a physicist, but interesting. Jeremy Fowler, getting an education, making changes. That's what I'm talking about right there. That's what it's all about. Look what we can do with just a bit of research. Gas station sushi, is that our next deep dive, Kristen? The grocery store sushi. Other restrained, what's going on? Yeah, we can totally start tonight. Scooby, I'm on episode, let's see. Oh, it's going to take forever. I'm on episode 900 something of One Piece finally. Finally. We're in Act 3 of Wano. Just finishing the Odin flashback and the Odin Gold Roger flashback. Just today finished it. Corporate weed sounds like a really bad thing to put into your body. Grow your own. I like that. Wally, I have to say you're onto something there. We're talking about Delta-9 versus Delta-8 tetrahydrocannabinol, Andrea. There are over 100 cannabinoids in a hemp plant or a marijuana plant. Both. Delta-9 is the ingredient that gets you high. Delta-8 is so very similar to Delta-9. It's got a very small difference, has very similar effects, but under the Farm Bill of 2018, somehow it's legal where Delta-9 is not. So entrepreneurs are seizing this opportunity to manufacture lookalike weed. I mean, they're not lying about what it is as far as they say it's Delta-8, right? They're not lying about that, but they're lying about it's being natural. They're not telling you about the process that they're making it with. And here, check this out. When the FDA went and finally investigated, they mass spectrometer 27 products over 8 brands. None contained the advertised amounts of Delta-8. In fact, they contained about average of 40% less. And in place of that 40% that was supposed to be Delta-8 as advertised, and it was also supposed to be natural, which is not true because of the process of making it, they found in their place heavy metals, magnesium, chromium, nickel, copper, zinc, mercury, lead, and silicone. These are very toxic. They can lead to shortness of breath and chest pain, kidney dysfunction, nervous system disorders, skin lesions, immune system dysfunction, and birth defects. This is some serious stuff, people. This is serious. And again, let's just go back real quick. The process to which they make Delta-8, which is not Delta-9. This isn't your regular weed. Delta-8 is created by, it's naturally occurring, right? But it occurs in small amounts. But these products that are being sold as Delta-8 weed and Delta-8 vape and all of that have Delta-8 in mass quantities because they're having a chemical reaction. They're taking hemp with CBD content of, 1 to 20%. They're dissolving it in a solvent such as hexane. I'll pull up a picture of hexane here in a second. It looks like, what's the brown bottle that you use for wounds? The bubbles? It looks like that. And then you add acid and heat to this dissolved hemp plant, and that transforms it into Delta-8. And when I say acid, they're probably using hydrochloric acid because with this mass spectrometer of 27 products over 8 brands, the FDA found all those metals and hydrochloric acid. In 2023, this was a $2.8 billion industry. Now, in September, I say we pay a little bit of attention to this farm bill. I imagine it's going to be in the back, in the very end of this sucker. And as of now, this industry is thriving. Long-term effects unknown. Peroxide, yeah, it looks like a peroxide bottle. It is gnarly, at least the picture that I saw. Scrolling. I was so excited, I smashed through that material, all of it. That's pretty much what I have to say. That is pretty much it right there. See you later, LEJ. Have a great day. I'm so glad to hear that, Patty. And also, Jeremy, I'm really glad to hear that you're also not using this stuff anymore. I've thought about it, and now that I know, there's definitely not going to happen, right? When you say they, where's that at? Because I think that this is definitely on the state level intelligent. The federal government in the U.S. has still deemed this a Schedule 1 narcotic, I believe. I'm not entirely sure about the schedule, but I know that it's still federally illegal. The song of the day is Two Lips by Choir Boy. It's really one of those songs that's like really happy sounding, but the lyrics are way morbid. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. Absolutely, Jeremy. My pleasure. Been trying to think of like things that I am excited about, passionate about, that I know about, because then it ends up being like this. It's a lot of fun. We learn a lot. It's just better for everyone. So this was a great topic. I was just farting around with my dad this morning, and he was like, "Why don't you do a show on that?" And I was like, "Why don't I do a show on that?" My dad's the best. Mr. Ray Ray, what's goody in the hoodie, bud? 30 days? Oh my God. Oh my. Dude, you feel like a new man or what? It's a lot of friggin' days, Ray Ray. I wish we had chips. Oh, actually, I'm going to move this camera a little bit. See how everything just got crooked? I'm holding my screen up on one side. You guys hear that? I have so many of these newcomer chips. Holy crap. You can't even see that one, huh? Wonder if I have a good one. Got a 2-monther. Got a 6-monther. Bunch of 24 hours, 90 days. Next time I see you, I might give you one of these 30s. I totally have a 30 in here somewhere, dude. We can order some too. I don't know if y'all are into that, but I feel like celebrating the milestones is of paramount importance. Did you guys know that the chips, like the timing of the chips in the 12-step programs is like in intentionally, here, I'm just going to dump this, and then it's intentionally structured so that, because as the body detoxes over a large period of time, there are times that time and time again over many different people, it's a hard. 30 days is hard. 6 months is hard. Year is hard. The 9 months is hard. They give you the chips around times that are historically difficult. And it has something to do with the way and the time frame in which the body detoxes from these things. So I think it's of paramount importance to celebrate milestones. You don't have to do chips or whatever, but we should go out for ice cream. I don't know. We should do something. Let's check it out. A Burning Man chip. That's pretty cool. I'm not going to stare at my lap, but I have a ton of chips right here, guys. Oh, here's the one that I was looking for. Pretty sweet. Pretty friggin' stoked on that one. Yeah, stay solid, Ray Ray. You're killing it, buddy. I totally use an app too. I forget what it's called. My uncle turned me onto it though. So if Uncle Johnny talks about it, that's the one I use. See, girl, what is going on? I don't know if I've ever said hello to you, but I think those colors in your thumbnail are beautiful. What's going on, Shelly? Going on. 84.49. What's the 0.49? Is that like the hours and minutes? Tommy does have a bigger trophy. I bet you he'll pull it out for you if you ask him. Or if you just tell him how good you're doing, dude. You tell him 30 days and he's gonna start juggling trophies, dude. By the way, my dad can totally juggle. I don't know if he still can. When I was a kid and he would juggle stuff to make me stop crying. He would even have me throw stuff at him and he would catch it and like add it to he's pretty cool. My pleasure, Patty. Absolutely. And if there's any topics you guys would like to go over, feel free to put it in the comments or the chat or email me, sober@myyahoo.com. I'm not promising I'll do your topic, but it's cool to have the opinions of the crew, the insight of the crew. Miss Sunrise Dawn. Happy anniversary, Miss Sunrise. Andrea, the stuff, I'm from Utah. The stuff you're seeing that's not at the dispensary, the stuff at the vape store and the stuff at the smoke shop is Delta-8, I promise. Delta-8-tetrahydrocannabinol is only medically legal in Utah. And as far as Salt Lake, I think there's only 2 dispensaries in town. It's Dragonfly, and I forget the other one. Something wellness. Interesting. I'd love to talk to you about that other restrained. I feel like I'm not going to hit it, but I vape, right? Nicotine. I feel like something similar is going on with these devices. And maybe it's just damaging my lungs, but I feel like I'm somehow intaking metals or something. There's something cheap and unempathetic about these devices. And I can feel it in my chest and my lungs. Maybe I'm crazy, but I don't think so. I don't think so. Vinny Logano, what's going on, my brother? Tommy Bird. Can you guys hear that? Sorry, I'm like bugging. It's not always that my house shakes a little when the helicopters go over, but when it does, it's audible. That's so cool, Tammy. Tammy says our neighbor has a store and she makes the edibles so we don't have to worry about them. You know, one of my favorite girlfriends of all time, I won't say her name. We haven't talked about her at all. Well, we have talked about her a little bit. She was the one with the wonderful pups. But she was an amazing cook, is an amazing cook. And people used to call her her nickname is a Betty Crocker reference, but she likes to bake goodies. You know what I mean? Baked goods. And they are so good. She's was always sending me care packages when I still lived in Salt Lake, even after we broke up. What a great lady. I love her. I mean, it's definitely not the evening landscapers. They got all of that done this morning when I wasn't trying to sleep, but a lot of people could have been. Shoot, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's hot now, so it makes sense why they do it early, but you know, an interesting fact about edibles as well is it is a different chemical composition than weed. You're not getting high on Delta-9 with edibles. And I probably should check my facts before I spit them, but you are experiencing a different high, and the psychoactive chemical that's getting you high is a different chemical when you put it in food. And in order to cook weed into food, in order to make it like if you eat weed, just straight up eat the nugs, it's not going to get you high. You have to add fire to the tetrahydrocannabinol uh, to create what's going to get you high. Now, there's this process called decarboxylating. What a stupid word, first of all. What a dumb word, decarboxylate. But you have to decarboxylate your weed before you make a butter in order to make it work when you eat it, which also changes the chemical composition. We could probably do like a little mini dive on that. There's not a lot of information there, and it's generally really good for you. Also very, very potent. That's right, Heather. That's exactly it right there. Rose K, I would imagine that's because it's doing its job before getting you high and you're using the recommended dosage. Am I right? By the way, I love your picture. That's pretty. Interesting. I thought as much, but wasn't certain. I'm also super hungry, B. Hendricks. We can totally talk about something else, I promise. How did I know? Good to see you awakened. Yeah, Cheryl, there's over 100 cannabinoids found in weed, found in hemp plants and marijuana plants. Over 100. Most of them we don't know a whole lot about. Please hit that like, subscribe, and the bell for notifications if you like what we do here. It certainly makes a difference for us. Catch the Admiral this evening at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. He's the best. I believe Delta-9 is also recreationally legal in California, is it not? An Admiral juggling demo. I'll see what I can do. I'll put the good word in. I'd love to see it too. It's been a great many years. Oh, wow. That's pretty cool. I immediately started bonding, and I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. That is pretty neat. Yeah, fully legal at drinking age. So I would imagine that's why you're finding Delta-9 in smoke shops and gas stations there. This is going to be super duper valuable information for people in prohibition states, because really their option is to go to a drug dealer or get Delta-8 from the gas station, right? Which in my opinion isn't, none of those options are great. None of those options are good in my opinion. I used to be totally okay with going to the drug dealer, but I mean, obviously I'm not partaking anymore, but it scares me now knowing about the fentanyl, knowing about the tranq, knowing about all this crazy stuff that's going on. I mean, it seems like as soon as there's an opportunity, every schmuck with a bunch of dough in his pocket, every trust fund baby entrepreneur jerk off is going to, invest in something that's going to kill a bunch of people or hurt a bunch of people and make their wallets fat. Part of the reason I was so depressed today is I started off my day with that TED Talk and then went on to a podcast with the same guy talking about the same issues. And I realized that I am the subject of his conversation. I'm this 30-plus-year-old young man that doesn't have a direction, that doesn't have an income, that isn't a viable mate, et cetera, right? And some of these aren't as true as they once were, right? But it really got me thinking, man, like, what the heck? What the heck? Where's the mentorship in this country? The male mentorship. All of a sudden, it's creepy for a well-off older man to spend time and mentor a young man because of people like Jeffrey Epstein, because of people like Michael Jackson. And, I don't know. I don't think Michael Jackson was really a creep, but maybe he was. I mean, he was definitely weird, but I don't know if he was diddling young dudes, in my opinion. But you know what I mean? Those people made it weird for men to mentor young men. Am I right? We could do a whole deep dive on that, man. I swear. I'm really fired up this week. And I'm really emotionally conflicted. I don't feel great. I feel passionate. And I feel like I have a lot of things I need to talk about to be okay. Hope you guys are down for it because it's happening. I'd love to see your fire breathing sometime, other. No pressure, obviously. That's what you do. It's your art. Do it for you. Do it when you want. But I would love to see it. I'm a huge fan. And something else I learned from listening to all that stuff. In the U.S., women under 30 are making more money than men under 30, which I think is fantastic. I don't think we should do anything to change that, but it does speak to because that's the first time that's ever been that way ever, which I think is great. But it also speaks to the lack of direction and mentorship for our young men. I think the question isn't why is that? The question is, how do we lift up young men so that they can rise to the occasion as well? I'm going to do a show on masculinity. I don't want to talk about it too much because I'll take away from my time later, but I think that masculinity in this country is very misunderstood. I think that masculinity around the world, and I don't know, I only can really speak for my country, but it is not an inherently male thing. It's also not about individuality. It's not about killing the friggin' lion, getting the car, the job, and the girl. It's not about self-grandizement and peacocking. It's about purpose-driven, service-oriented. How am I showing up for other people? It's about it's about protecting people. It's about being there for those around you. It's about being of service. That's masculinity. That's true masculinity. And we're going to do a show on that soon too. Yeah, I can't say anymore. I started writing that one today too. I was really on a roll. Really on a roll. I think that there are lots of women out there that just demonstrate wonderful masculinity and vice versa. I have heard of energy healing, and I believe that's, I don't know how to say that word. But I have Reiki. Well, this whole toxic masculinity thing, and I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on for a second, I think is a construct to like poison the minds of the masses. Because like what toxic masculinity actually means is misogyny. And people get masculinity confused with misogyny these days because of this term, toxic masculinity. We don't even need that term. You're a misogynist or you're not. You know what I mean? You know what being a man is about or you don't. You follow people like, what's that guy, Andrew Tate? You're an idiot. That's not what being a man is about. Now, my dad, I think that is a great example of masculinity. He's literally out of state right now, moving heaven and earth to help a friend that he deeply cares about, to protect her and to see that she makes it into this new chapter safely. That is true masculinity right there. That's what that is. That's what that is. Now deal with it. Masculinity is also a construct, Andra, a societal construct. It's what we fill it with. We're going to basically do a masculinity show right now, it seems like. There is toxic femininity. And I usually make a joke right here and I say that's called feminism, but I don't know if I can stand behind that statement. I think it's funny at first glance, but I don't know if that's real or not. There is totally, absolutely toxic femininity. And maybe that's what we call Karens. I don't know. And that's just like, I don't mean people with the name Karen. You guys know what I mean. I'm sorry to any Karens out there that are actually named Karen. I feel bad. But y'all know what I mean. You guys totally are on the same page with me. Qigong. Well, I think when people say chivalry is dead, this is exactly what they're talking about. You know what I mean? When our parents were our age, things were different. I wish I had some more of the statistics. I learned so much crap today, but like the way that things are now, like we're not having kids, we're not finding mates. What's happening in China is happening here. We're just, some years behind them. They're not going to have they're missing generations, and we're about to be missing generations too, because people my age are not procreating. Interesting. Body illusion, I think you've got a quite intelligent son on your hands. I think that you've got a stud on your hands. Toxic positivity equals bullshit artist. Pardon me, I'm just reading all your comments, all the chat. Ice is getting thin. Let's go. Monk, I think it's really cool that you say that. I have plans to touch on a lot of subjects that are going to get real thin ice. I'm going to attempt to transform politics into connection, because we have to be able to talk about some things, and it's not about left or right. It's not about me versus you. It's about all of us together or none of us at all. And I'm not going to go too into that, but we're gonna skate on some thin ice, but I'm confident we can make it together. And I think it's of paramount importance. What's happening is the powers that be are dividing us, and we need to connect. And then maybe it's not even the powers that be, but we are being divided, whether it's by our own hands or our lack of hands-onness. I know that wasn't English, but it makes sense. When you start to hear the Imperial March, that's when you know you're in trouble. Aria Schleider, what's going on? And Andrea, I totally agree. And if they're true masculine, they don't represent misogyny. You know what I mean? I think that we have gotten quite wrapped up in words and terminology rather than like what is actually happening, like who we actually are and what our actual intentions and purposes are, like we can get wrapped up in ideology ad nauseum with no action at all. You know what I mean? And we can get lost in there. It can be a maze, especially in today's world where, language is changing on the fly. We're making up our own dialects as we go. It's pretty wild. Communication is a whole nother animal than it used to be, especially with all this technology, all this social media. In my not so humble opinion, I don't think anyone under the age of 16 has any business using social media. There's no reason. Like, I agree, if I had a 16-year-old daughter, I probably, or some younger than that, would probably want to be able to get a hold of them if they were out of the house or something. Those aren't things I really think about because I'm not a parent, right? But I don't think there's any reason for anyone under the age of 16 to be using social media. I think it's dangerous. I agree with my pops. And I probably will hit these issues far more aggressively than him, if you can believe it, once I get my legs under me. Far more aggressive. Because I'm young, I'm ready. Take on the world. Absolutely, Izzy. Going from divide and conquer to unite and conquer. I like that a lot. Vaporization. Lol. Damien H, shout out. I don't know if I've ever said hello to you, but hello. Good to see you. I'm glad you're here. Trying to get othering to be a term. I'm behind it. We need to stop othering each other and come together. Absolutely. Because we're all from our own unique, different, vastly different walks of life or whatever, but we can find something to agree on. I guarantee it. We can definitely see eye to eye on a couple things. I have a quote from a James Maynard Keenan song that I want to share with you. And it goes as such: we will never know world peace until three people can simultaneously look each other in the eye. And I think that that's really powerful and really cool. I don't know if that's the light that I just stared into or I'm going to cry a little. The pet wellness coach, what's going on? Good to see you. Absolutely, Wally. And I have faith that we're going to. Wally says we can't ignore reality. We should be able to discuss matters of the day respectfully. And we totally can. We have cultivated quite the channel here, quite the culture, quite the crew. This is a very unique place. And a lot of people call it safe and feel safe here. And I think that that's amazing. And I don't intend to push, or I guess that's not the right way to say that, but I don't ever intend to put unnecessary stress on us, but I am going to push the boundaries and see exactly what we're capable of, because we haven't found out the limits yet. We don't know exactly where the boundaries are. And there's a lot of work to do. There's a lot of terrible work to be undone, in my opinion. I can relate with that. Awakened says I struggle with the positivity thing. Honestly, I feel like being so positive sometimes looks like BS. And probably because it is, and we can only do our best, right? But when you have much yuck to live through, the only choice, in my opinion, is to look for the positive. And sometimes it does feel fake. And there is a time to embrace, like lean into these emotions, whether they're positive or negative, because they all serve a purpose. We can't bury the negative in the positive, right? We still have to deal with the negative. The positive just helps us get through the day, right? That's what we're all trying to do, is make it through the day somehow. So it's very necessary to address the negative. We don't ever want to bury it in the positive, but we can use the positive to get through that negative, if that makes sense, right? If that makes sense. Like I used to take bong rips and drink and do cocaine and party to not deal with the negative, to just, we're going to put that over here for now, right? And that's the opposite of what we want to do. What we want to do is address the negative, but also find happiness somewhere, or create happiness, right? I feel on fire today, guys. Hit that like, subscribe, and the bell for notifications if you like what we do here. It certainly makes a difference. I agree with you, Mr. Ray. 100%. I agree, Rolling Stone, and I definitely am not intending to create any sort of conflict. If I fail in my idea, right, we will have created conflict. And if that's the case, we probably won't try it again, right? But I think I'm going to succeed. I think I can do it. I think we can do it, but I think I can phrase it and stage it in a way where it's not about, because it's not about, at the end of the day, it's not about left and right. It's not about politics at all. It's about us as a people making it or not making it. It's about our quality of life. It's about things that we can literally all agree on. We're not talking about like abortion and guns, and like, we're not talking about divisive issues. We're talking about connection. We're talking about human problems and solutions to them. You know what I mean? So I don't want to freak you out. I want you guys to know that I'm thinking about all this stuff. And, as much as I like to push the boundaries, I'm definitely watching like the effect it's having very, very closely. So that being said, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, it definitely didn't die a natural death. It was slain. Interesting. Izzy remembered that I had questioned the toxic positivity thing when she brought it up prior. The bypassing of negative emotions to avoid feeling them and addressing them, or to impose that onto others because we are uncomfortable. That makes perfect sense, Izzy. That is the definition of toxic positivity. Wow, my tongue is getting tied. We might have to tink and get out. Now I have a pile of chips in front of me. You guys want to see something else cool? This is my New Year's shirt. I have these little bells, silver bells, that have these, they're attached to these clips. I wore these on my fancy red suede shoes the night of that New Year's thing. It was pretty cool. Please hold. Sorry about the silence. What? Is my arm bigger, or there's another button? I feel like my left arm's getting more worked out than my right. But I also think that my right elbow is damaged, so it just feels structurally different. Hard to tell. Hard to tell! Gotta go, grilling, and it started to rain. Have a great night, Tina. Hope you save your steaks or whatever it is. Maybe I don't need a hat. I want a hat. I want a hat real bad, guys. Once again, the song of the day is Two Lips by Choir Boy. All right. Thanks for your patience here. We're going straight for Tommy's Tink Jacked Up. I know it's the same one we always do, but the rest of them aren't very strong, and this one is far too much right now. So maybe I just do more of the other ones. I don't know. We're doing this one, so Jacked Up. Doesn't work very well, does it? I take that as a compliment, Wally. If only I could sing like him, you know? Slash cry, yeah. Not the best, Ray, not the best, right? I've definitely been seeing and hearing pool goers walking past my door a bunch. It must be that time of year. Do you ever make a spoon with your metal yogurt seal lid? Is that English? Do you like to try that question again? Because I would like to answer it. I just don't know what you're asking. Ever make a spoon with your metal yogurt lid seal? You know? I don't know. Maybe. Is it fun? I didn't look that time because I wanted to get a good center drop. How many did I do? 2? 3? Wow. Scorching, baby. Wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. You know, just a little bit of got me right in my. Oh, I totally know what you're talking about. And yes, I do. Absolutely. I have been known to do that. And I'm pretty sure there have been times where I've done this at Burning Man because I was a sparkle pony and didn't bring silverware with me. So I had to make silverware. That reminds me, I probably should pack some silverware. Pack some silverware. Wow. I think that's like a 4 or a 5. I'm scared to go above 5 these days. I mean, I got to take it easy on myself. I have great excuses to not go over 5, but definitely hotter than yesterday, probably because I did more than one drop. So maybe a 6. I feel like 6 is too generous. I feel like it's definitely a 5. Yeah, B. Hendricks, absolutely. In fact, I've done this with pudding. I've probably done it with applesauce. I've probably done it with things that you shouldn't do it with, like nacho cheese or something. I can't think of anything right now. Just a little scoop, Wally. Just a scooper. I always eat the residual yogurt and the residual ice cream on the lid. Yeah, I can't leave it. You know, it's like too good. Too good to waste. Wow. Oh my gosh, guys. Okay. It's on the down. It's on the downward trend now. I think I peaked at 5. I'd say a 5. Somehow it's on my lip on just this side, which is pretty neat. I'm going to give myself just a second to see if I can remember anything that I may have forgotten. Because I feel like I had this nagging feeling I forgot something. Long-term effects unknown. 2024 September revote of the Farm Bill. Blah, 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 blah. I guess that's it. We did a pretty good job, y'all. We smashed it. We smashed it. Now, I think it's worth saying, none of this was written down. I'm just going off the hip now. I mean, all of it's off the hip, but I just have notes for most of it, an outline, as it were. Like, what was I going to say? So we just talked about Delta-8 being predominantly, well, I shouldn't say predominantly, being non-natural. It is naturally occurring, but the way that the industry is now, the way that the FDA and the way that the laws are structured in the US makes it so that it's very profitable to synthetically transform CBD into Delta-8 and then sell it. And the way that they're transforming it is what's making it dangerous. Naturally occurring Delta-8 is not what we're talking about at all. If naturally occurring Delta-8 is not what we have spoken about at all. We didn't speak about naturally occurring Delta-8 at all today. Not one fact that we spoke about today is naturally occurring Delta-8. It's all synthetically created, the stuff that you're buying at least. There is naturally occurring Delta-8, but it's not being sold in high percentage, getting highable quantities, right? I just wanted to leave you guys with that. What's going on, Christy? I have intended to get back to you in the messenger all day today. I promise that I will, Christy. Thank you for your patience. And on that note, I'm getting out of here. That's usually what I do. I put the blueberries in there. I'll buy frozen blueberries, put them in the fridge, and then just eat them before they go bad, right? So that like all the blueberry juice will go in there too. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. It's crazy good. All right. That being said, the Admiral will be on this evening, 7:30 p.m. Pacific, and I'll see you book studiers at book study. All right. Much love.